What's up, guys? This is YGO Silence coming at you with another deck profile. Now today I'm going to be showing you guys my level 2 links. Alright, now this has been an idea I've been working on for a long time, about since links came out, alright? The idea behind it is using level 2 normal monsters and the support they got very early in Yu-Gi-Oh! To kind of swarm the field and use the link mechanic to my advantage. This deck is actually kind of effective in a local setting. It's very fun, definitely not competitive at the higher levels such as regionals or YCSs, but it's definitely something fun you can play with. That being said, let's get right into this profile. Alright guys, starting off with the main deck. Now in the main deck, you're going to want to run a large amount of level 2 normal monsters, and the thing is that can lead to bricking. So you want to find cards that lets you limit that amount of cards without affecting the overall performance of the deck, and that was actually the main difficulty, finding that happy medium. But anyway, we're going to start off one Gofu. Gofu is a very, very excellent card. Highly recommend it. It gets you a free decode, and that's pretty much all you have to hear. Next, probably one of the better cards in the deck, 3 Rescue Rabbit. Now, Rescue Rabbit is very, very good, even better than perhaps Venus, the other swarmy card you play in the deck, and I'll explain why once I get into the extra deck. But Rescue Rabbit lets you get into the card I would almost call the boss monster of this deck. And even though this is very, very much a link spammy deck, the boss monster is not a link monster, alright? And I'll explain to that front later. Alright, those are all the effect monsters you run. The rest are normal. So you gotta run the 3 Mystical Shine Ball, the 3 Galaxy Serpent because it's a tuner, and then I run 3 Bitron and 3 Crowned by the World Chalice. These are just very wally cards, 2k defense and 2100 defense. Kind of annoying to get over, and as far as normal monsters, in this deck, you're not being aggressive with them. You're kind of trying to use your link plays to be aggressive. Alright, but that's all the monster lineup we run. Let's go off into the spells. Alright, starting off with the spells, you run 3 of the best spell in the deck, Tri-White. Tri-White is a very, very powerful card because it's very, very easy to get the 3 level 2 or lower normal monsters you need into the grave to special summon them back. Alright, and that's because of the link mechanic. Think about it this way. You resolve Rescue Rabbit, you get 2 normal monsters out. Link summon with 1 to get a Link Spider out. Link Spider special summons 1 normal monster from hand. Boom, you go into Decode Talker, and then you have 3 normal monsters in grave. Again, Enchanting Fitting Room, same deal. Alright, you get 1, you normal summon 1 normal monster, Link summon to Link Spider special summons 1 from hand. Go into Decode. Again, same dealio. Very, very simple to use, but very powerful, because it gives you a lot of advantage, a lot more than some of the other decks in the format when it comes to link summoning. Alright, and actually, something I quickly want to mention, this deck, when it comes to link span, is actually pretty effective, and I have played Cybers players before, and this can generate just about as much advantage as they do, if not more. Alright, very, very strong. Next, 3 Silent Doom. Silent Doom just brings back 1 on defense position. You can use Swing of Memories. I would not recommend it because Swing of Memories destroys on the end phase, and even though it allows you to put the monster in attack position, you're not trying to be aggressive with your normal monsters. You're trying to generate link monsters and even synchro monsters, thanks to Galaxy Serpent being a tuner, that really is more effective than using the normal monster beatdown aspect of the deck, which is still possible, but it's not that good. Next, I run 3 Enchanting Fitting Room. This is a personal preference. I would highly recommend looking at Unexpected Die and making the choice for yourself. Unexpected Die is more reliable than Enchanting Fitting Room because it special summons 1 from deck if you don't control any monsters. Now, Enchanting Fitting Room has a higher ceiling because you could activate this if you have monsters on the field, and you can hit more than 1 normal monster. Alright, you run about a third of your deck, ballpark, is normal monsters, so you're usually hitting 1 to 2. But the thing is, you can not hit any with Enchanting Fitting Room, and then end up just wasting 800 life points and wasting a card in hand. It's a risk, but I definitely think it's worth it, and that's why I run it at 3. Next, of course, you run 3 Scapegoat. This is a link deck. You must run Scapegoat. They are very, very strong, especially going first. This card also has some very unexpected synergy with some of the trap lineup you run to kind of recur these normal monsters. But Scapegoat, very powerful, must run 3. Finally, 2, Law of the Normal. Law of the Normal is very, very powerful because it wipes the board if you have 5 normal monsters on your side of the field. That includes Scapegoat, so resolve Scapegoat as your opponent ends their turn. Normal summon 1 normal monster, and this card's live. Alright, that's kind of nutty. Law of the Normal is a very, very powerful card. It's very easy to get 5 normal monsters on board. Really not a big deal. And then they also discard their entire hand along with you. So pretty much the only thing on the field or in anybody's hand is normal monster. Alright, you have no hand, they have no hand, but you have 5 monsters on board to play with and link summon with, which is why it's very powerful. Alright, next, one Upstart. I don't even count this as a card. This is a 39 card deck. Alright, now let's go off into the traps. Alright, starting off, we have 3 Human Wave Tactics. This is the card I mentioned that has interesting synergy with Scapegoat. So, during the end phase of each turn, select a number of level 2 or lower normal monsters from your deck equal to the number of your level 2 or lower normal monsters destroyed as a result of battle during that turn. So what this means is, if you have this plus Scapegoat, you could flip Scapegoat while your opponent's attacking. Don't even care if they destroy those Scapegoats. In fact, you want them to. Flip this on the end phase, and then you could special summon as many as 4 normal monsters from your deck. That's kind of nice because, 1, it deck thins, because you really don't want to draw into these normal monsters very much. You want maybe 1 or 2 to go into Link Spider plays and stuff and get cards on the field, but you don't want any more than that. Alright, and Human Wave Tactics kind of lets you thin, recur your advantage. Alright, if you just have to wall up and they can't out Human Wave Tactics, it doesn't matter how much they attack, how much they destroy your monsters, you're just going to bring out more. Alright, very, very strong card. And finally, the last card we run is 3, the League of Uniform Nomenclature. Very, very strong. If you have 1 level 2 or lower normal monster on the field, special summon the other 2 from your deck. If they're in grave, you can't special summon them, but very, very strong card early in the game when you have a ton of targets. Set this first turn, and then boom, you generate a ton of advantage. Alright, that is my main deck. Let's go off into the extra deck. Alright, starting off with our extra deck. You could pretty much run whatever you want in any extra deck. Alright, just depends what you know you're going to play against. Especially with Link monsters, as they're very easy to get into so long as you could swarm the field. However, there are a few I highly recommend you should play. I said many, many times Link Spider throughout this video. Link Spider is amazing. Allows you to generate free advantage. I would highly recommend 3. For our 2s, 2 Proxy, 1 Akashic. Akashic is nice for the bounce. It points down. Proxy is great for the destruction protection. Very, very strong. Definitely run those. 2 Decode. 1 Gaia Saber, nothing special there. Decode's very strong. I usually try to end my board with either a Decode on the board or my Borreload. Borreload's awesome. If you're going second, you have Borreload. Borreload's really, really nice. Plus, Borreload is one of those where this is not recommended, but if it's absolutely necessary, ending on a field with just a Borreload on board is not bad. It's not good either, but it's not bad, where you could take your opponent's monster, kind of do some work with that. This is where I would put my Topologic Bomber Dragon if I had one. Makes me so sad every time. It's a very good card in this deck. Allows you to, with all the graveyard recursion you have with Tri-White and Silent Doom, bringing back monsters and special summoning to Topologic zones, not a big deal. Also, just normal summon, Link summon into Link Spider, boom, that counts. And wipe the board. Very, very strong. You can run Synchros in this deck thanks to Galaxy Serpent, very strong. I run 1 Stardust Charged Warrior. The free draw is nice. If you're going second and you're trying to wipe out a bunch of low-level monsters, it's good too. Brio, again, that's where I put my Brio if I had one. Brio is really, really strong. Definitely recommend it. And then this card, this is the card I've been kind of making little subtle references to all day long about this being the boss monster in the deck. And that is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This card's actually, it's busted. And you could go into this card very easily because getting 2 Galaxy Serpent with Rescue Rabbit, very easy. Getting 2 out with Uniform Nomenclature, great. All right, you get 3 out. All right, it's very strong. All right, and you could get it out fairly easily. And I've actually ended on boards, like I said, Decode, Proxy Dragon pointing to a Crystal Wing, and then a normal monster. All right, it's very difficult to deal with. For Xyz, we only run 1. There's not a lot of good level 2 Xyz, except Sky Cavalry, which is just effectively run into a monster and then bounce it back. Your opponent can't attack it, obviously. Just a good card. Definitely something strong to play with. I would only run it at 1, though. Alright, that's our extra. Let's go off to our side. Alright, going off into our side deck, you're going to want to run, 3 Danko Sekka. I say every single time, side deck's up to you. These are just my personal preferences. However, this deck is extremely weak to certain continuous kind of floodgate traps, such as Anti-Spell, Fragrance, Summon Limit, those to be named. Alright, Danko, if you go first and you drop Danko, it's very, very difficult for your opponent if they main deck a lot of those to play. Alright, just Danko's so dominant against those back row heavy decks, I feel like you have to run it every single side deck. Alright, 3 Ghosties. Ghosts are probably one of the best hand traps in the game for a variety of reasons. One, they're just so reliable in all decks. It's not like Ghost Reaper where you can only play it against certain things if you thought about that matchup. Ghost Ogres are great against everything. They're obviously no Ash Blossoms. The reason I say they're one of the best is pretty much everybody can afford Ghost Ogres. Alright, Ghost Ogres, $8. Definitely a worthwhile investment. Next, 3 Twins. I said earlier, this deck loses to certain back row. Twin Twisters definitely helps deal with that. 2 of the board wipes. Those standard issue, if you're dealing with certain decks that kind of just wall up, and stuff, and they're very susceptible to those, run the board wipes. I also run a major upset, so tribute 1 face-up attack position, level 2 or lower normal monster you control, and then return all face-up, level 7 or higher special summon monsters to the field. I use this a lot in certain Pendulum decks against those, such as Odd Eyes. It gets some play if I play against a Zephyr player, Dark Magician, just to name a few decks I use this against. It's actually very effective. And then 1 Gravity Bind. So this card has actually come in clutch for me a few times, so I would definitely recommend running at least 1. This deck is susceptible, I said this is a fun deck, so it's susceptible against a lot of decks, but it's highly susceptible against those very aggressive OTK decks such as Cyber Dragon or Ancient Gear, and it's also susceptible against back row decks. So Gravity Bind helps with those high aggression decks. And even sometimes I consider pulling the board wipes and throwing in 2 more Gravity Bind, because it's that good at shutting down those decks. Alright, but that's my side. Let's go off to the closing comments. Alright guys, so this deck is a lot of fun to play with. It's very effective, and I think it's, this is a bold statement, I think it's one of the better link spammy, just pure link spammy decks. Definitely does not hold a candle to something like World Chalice or World Legacy or whatever it is. And it's not as reliable as Cybers. But the thing is, there's not a whole lot of link spammy decks that just utilize the toolbox, alright? And I think this definitely falls into that category. It also offers the ability to go into those tuners without having to run something like a Wind Witch engine, which I think is very nice. Alright. This deck is obviously not competitive. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It has its faults. It loses to the heavy back row decks. It loses to those high aggression decks. It loses to a lot of stuff, but if you could get into a grind game with one of those standard decks, I think it's very reliable, and it's definitely a lot of fun. Alright, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Please, feel free to like and subscribe, and if you see anything you would change in this version of the deck, please put it in the comments below. That being said, I'll see you guys next time.